Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Spotlight on Unicorns. Today we have a very special person who I've known for a very well, gosh, I'm trying to think now, probably Evie's 16, so 14 years, because you got her when she was 2, 3, I think, maybe around that age.
She was maybe even younger than 3, Nicole.
Oh, maybe, yeah, because she left Miss Annie's room and then ended up in Carolina's room, and then she came to you guys. So
Yeah.
probably, yeah, like 14 years, 13, 14 years. So Miss Cheryl Rodrigues has been with our family, and not just when Evie was little, but then throughout her life. Miss Cheryl has been there to be able to help her get through some areas that she was, some tutoring that she was doing as she was in middle school. And Miss Cheryl's also part of my sister's family as well, because she's also, been working with my sister's kids too. So and so today we're going to talk a little bit about your journey and, how you've transitioned in your career and the things that, what you started out wanting to do and then what you're eventually doing right now. And so I will let you introduce yourself and then also what you're doing right now.
Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I've known Nicole and Nicole's sister and the family, and they're very, very special to me. And I feel like they're part of my family. So I have been a teacher for, I used to be a teacher. I went into teaching because it's something that, I've just loved being able to help people, being able to see that aha in a
Mm,
child's eyes. Nothing can replace that feeling of it's a very special moment. I call it a moment because very often it's just that moment when you've got the child, right where you've hoped you would. And so I went into teaching for that, but now I am a facilitator, and I work with neurodivergent people, not just kids.
mhm,
And I went into it simply to extend that feeling
mm,
and
mhm.
being able to now I see it on a daily basis. And it's great because I know that that's what they are the ones who change the world,
Mhm,
and why not help them get there? So
mhm.
that's why I went into it.
That's awesome. And what did you want to be when you were little?
Um, no, my mother is an artist.
Mm,
My dad a scientist.
mm,
I've had, I think, the best of both. I was creative
mhm,
because mom expected us to help her,
mhm,
create things, prepare for exhibitions. And my dad loved reading, and he filled the house with books. And so I felt like I had to do something in both.
mm,
Uh, Doing just one was never an option.
mhm,
I when I was in college, I my major was life sciences and biochemistry
mm,
because it was something that interested me. But at the same time, I was always designing, and so when I finished college, I decided to take some time off and actually focus on the creative aspect, and so I started designing. Um, and so I don't know, growing up, I feel like I used to teach because my father always expected me to help kids in the neighborhood.
mhm,
And so I used to help uh, explain things to kids who sometimes did not even speak the same language as I did.
mm, mhm,
And so that kind of got me realizing that I love to teach.
mm.
And so I knew that eventually I would get to it. And I think I think teaching was my number one thing.
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah.
honest, I think that was it. Even though I love to design, I think teaching was just always at the top of my mind.
And one of the things that I want to point out too is that combination of art and
Yeah,
teaching, whatever
yeah,
subject it was, you would always pull that into the work
I
that you were doing with the
always,
kids at Rainbow, but then
absolutely,
also the work that you were doing one-on-one, to
absolutely.
help them with these concepts, right?
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. Because I always tell the kids one thing is I start off with saying, I'm going to try explaining something to you, but it's not really your problem. It's my problem that you get it. So if you don't get it the way I'm trying to explain, ask me and I'll figure out a different way. So
mm,
I've always made sure that they don't feel pressured
Hmm. Hmm.
to understand. And I, like you say, the creative aspect really helped me because I would sit and I would think, okay, how can I explain this?
Hmm.
What can I do? What methods, what materials can I sometimes create? Very often I would sit and create those materials.
Hmm.
Didn't go looking for them in stores. I would create those materials, and sometimes I got the kids to help me create those materials. So that's what made it, and what makes it really interesting for them is number one, they don't feel pressured, and number two is it's always hands-on.
Hmm.
And when you use hands-on methods, it's that you just have the child already excited about it, learning. So
Yeah. And that confidence too, as well, that they're building
exactly,
confidence.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So what do you think is the hardest part about your job?
You know, it's I think it's the job's not hard, right? It's exciting. Every day is exciting because I really don't know what's going to happen that day.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. Um, the hard part comes when I'm thinking about not being able to help kids, the kids that I'm never going to meet. That's the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
And another hard part is when I come across people who work with kids who are neurodivergent, who are taking a path that I know is going to lead just to more heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the hard part. I just got back from a symposium this week, and I've met with people all over the world who work with neurodivergent people, and that's one thing we all share is that uh, sadness
Mm-hmm.
maybe of not getting to everyone that needs us.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, not
Yeah.
the job itself, because, hey, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do that day. I don't know how I'm going to approach a problem, but that's what makes it interesting
Yeah.
because the goal is the same. The goal is good. And so when you have a goal that you're doing something for the right reasons, it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah. Yeah. There's more than one way to approach a problem.
There's always more than one way. There's 100 different ways,
Yeah.
just have to be open to actually looking for answers and going about it with an open mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, what is the one thing that you wish that you could have done differently as part of your journey?
I don't believe in regrets, and I do believe that everything you do, whether it feels right or not at the moment, it's leading you to where you need to go. I
Mm.
believe in that. And, mistakes may seem like mistakes just at the moment you're making them,
Mhm.
but you've just got to believe that it's leading you somewhere, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And every error I've made doesn't feel like an error anymore. And, when I look back, I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
that's why it happened. And
Mhm.
so even when mistakes are happening at right now, I know it's for a reason,
Yeah.
you know? And so I don't I don't believe there's anything I would change
Yeah. Yeah.
because I know it has led me to where it has led me, and that is just making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
It's just so fulfilling.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the things too that, when I'm working with, people that are, more junior, even if they're
Yeah,
not on my team, it's like it's okay to make mistakes. It's more
absolutely.
important to learn from those mistakes and be able to
Absolutely.
build on top of them, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously don't want
Absolutely.
to, like, there's some mistakes you want to try to prevent as much as possible, but
Right.
you only learn if you're making mistakes,
Absolutely.
because the other way
Absolutely.
you would just plug yourself into something and like download it and know all the answers, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree, Nicole. And it is important to make mistakes
Hmm.
because you cannot be afraid of trying something uh, just purely based on the fact that, oh my gosh, what if I mess this up?
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
just don't know. And in fact, go ahead and try it. Make the mistake. Learn from it. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, I
Yeah.
do agree. I do agree with you.
Yeah. That's exactly, I mean, that's how even little children learn, is you fall down and get back up again. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, that's one thing I've always, and kids, I actually show them how I constantly am making mistakes myself.
Hmm.
And so when they actually observe that you're not petrified at making a mistake, they're okay with trying too.
Mhm.
And so I feel like that's one of the things that have helped me the most with kids is that they know that I'm approachable, I make mistakes, I
Mhm.
learn from them, I'm excited about learning, and it does help.
Yeah.
They believe they actually trust you more when they know that they're working with somebody who is not infallible.
Yeah. Well, and it's safe to make mistakes with you too. So there's
Totally,
not,
totally,
negative consequences. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
what would you tell your younger self about who you are now?
Wow. It's one thing I would, if I could, I would just tell my younger self to not worry, not not to worry, and to just enjoy every day,
Hmm.
and to not let the naysayers actually get inside my head.
Hmm.
I've always been one person. My mother actually has always said one thing, which has stuck with me. She, she was an artist, but also she invented things, and she still invents things. And she always said, when people said to her, "Oh, how can you do this? Because it hasn't been done." And she always says, "If it hasn't been done before, doesn't mean it can't be done."
Hmm.
And so that's one thing. It stuck with me. She meant it more in the creative aspect of
Hmm.
things, but I take it in everything I do. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, so you say that this can't be done. Whoa, you've just challenged me, and now I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to prove that I can do it, and this
Yeah.
person I'm working with can do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So did I answer your question, Nicole?
Oh
Sometimes
yeah. No.
when
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I
yeah,
think I think it's one that I would probably tell myself too, is that, don't worry, trust in yourself, you know.
absolutely trust in yourself.
Mhm.
It's a long journey.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. I would definitely go back and ask myself to also take care of myself, not worry too much. Trust, just trust in yourself.
Hmm.
Because I do believe that I have questioned myself many times in my life.
Yeah.
I'm extremely hardworking, and I know that I have worked very hard for everything,
Hmm.
everything. Even though I didn't need to actually, because I have a photographic memory, right? I
Hmm.
can look at things and just get it immediately, but I have never fallen back on something like that. I worked so hard.
Hmm.
So if I could go back, I would actually try to get my younger self to just
Hmm.
enjoy things as well as working hard.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's a challenge. I think that, some of the kids around Evie's age right now, or, Elisa's kids, is that they're so focused on, we're so pressuring them on what are you going to become? You're going to go to
mm,
university. What are you going to become? Constantly like looking future, but not
mm,
now, because,
mm,
you can put yourself on a path towards something, but
mm,
anything could change at any point in time.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
so, but taking the time to like really enjoy like where you are now, not constantly be worrying about the future.
Absolutely. It's actually, that is so true. And one of the things that I work with kids is to be present,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, because the more you are present and enjoy what you're doing, the more prepared you are for the future.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's living in the present that prepares you for the future, is what I always say.
yeah. And like, what is the
Yeah,
point in doing all the work if you can't enjoy it?
absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like now it's the next thing. Now it's the next thing. Like, when is it ever
Yeah,
enough, right?
you will never enjoy it. You'll never enjoy it if you're constantly thinking about the future. You've got to enjoy the present and be present and work on being present.
Yeah,
That takes work. That
it
takes
does.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's so easy. I think it's easy for people that are like really, self-motivated to just constantly be looking for the future,
yeah.
and, slowing down and just stopping and enjoying the moment. I think is so important. I think
So
for
it's critical.
everybody.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Um, who's helped you the most in your career?
I've mentioned my mom and
Yeah.
my dad. I think what I gained from them, um, they unknowingly did it. I was the oldest child. They were young parents. They probably didn't realize it, but I think uh, the belief in my abilities, and I saw that they trusted me wholeheartedly. Uh,
Mm,
they never had to sit and actually teach me anything. I was one of those self-motivated kids, who just did it. And in fact, I had to be told to just take a break. My
Mm-mm.
dad would make it a point to make sure that I, meet my friends because I was so totally focused. But I think they gave me the belief in myself and my abilities.
Mhm, mhm,
And one thing that my dad used to always point out for some reason, I didn't believe it at that time, is he would say I was very observant.
mm,
And I would be like, well, why is that such a great thing, being observant? But I realized that being observant has given me more and taught me more than anything else, just observing people, you know? And so definitely mom and dad. And going forward, my husband,
mm,
he's my supporter, my greatest cheerleader.
mm.
He is like, he believes in me like 150%. And it's like, whatever I decide to do, I know that it's like, go for it, just go for it. And my son, the tech guy, right? He's created my website and he's been as a little kid, I practiced all my tools and strategies on him. And he's like, okay, mom, are we doing one more thing for you? It's like every day he would ask, okay, let's practice, let's practice. And yeah, so they're the people I, and the parents of all the kids
Yeah.
that I have been fortunate enough to know. I always say I've met the best of the best
Mm,
through my work, and I consider everyone my family, parents and the kids my family. And so I think each one has played a role in
yeah.
my life. And it will be, sometimes I feel I should write a book. My husband's constantly telling me you should write a book
Yeah.
simply based on what I have learned from people,
Yeah.
and how everybody has changed my life and in always a good way, always a good way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of what I'm doing with this project is honoring all the people that have been in my life,
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to, talk about what makes you so impactful in the world from my
Right.
perspective,
Right.
and to be able to
Yeah.
tell, tell the story about, how does that come to be? Like, how do you
Right.
accomplish that? So,
Yeah.
um, what do you think is your most important job?
Working with children.
Mm,
I
mhm.
take it very seriously,
Yeah.
because sometimes I meet a child and I may meet that child only for 5 minutes, maybe. Because if I'm at a school, visiting a school, a child comes up to me and just asks me a question.
Mhm,
um, I take them very seriously.
mhm,
I
mhm.
take a child very seriously. I feel like, this is this one opportunity I have to say something to this child that hopefully can help this child. And so it may be a 5 minute conversation, or
Mhm.
sometimes it's, knowing the child for years. And I'm really grateful for that as well. But when I work with a child, I know that's just going to be it has been my most important job, and it will be my most important job. And I know that every child needs that one person in their life who
Mhm,
they know is there for the right reason
mhm.
and has only their well-being at heart. And so I take that job very seriously,
Yeah. Yeah.
very seriously. I don't, and I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted. So I think that's my most. Did I answer your
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
I get so, um, it's just, it's a good thing I'm not crying. Let's put it that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this, I've been very fortunate to be able to, care for kids. And when I'm given the opportunity, it's a privilege. And I do not take that privilege for granted.
Yeah. Well, and the kids love you too. So
I mean, it's both
I
ways,
mean,
right?
they will never forget you. I mean, that's the other thing. The
Isn't that
impact that you
amazing?
have
Isn't
had
that
is,
amazing?
yeah. I mean, you're with them. You were part of their life story.
And
So
isn't that amazing?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it sends chills up my spine that like, you have
yeah,
had such an imprint on somebody else, and they
yeah,
forget so many things over the years. Like,
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
have conversations with her and say, "Oh, you remember when we went to such and such a place?" And she's like, "Honestly, I don't remember, but hey." do you remember your time with Miss Cheryl? It's like, yeah, I mean, she could probably read back like everything that she did in the classroom to like coming to your house. Like that's a huge impact,
Yeah,
right? And that
yeah.
they can
So,
remember that.
and
So
I know without question that every single child that I work with, every single session has had a good session.
yeah,
So I don't have to sit and say, did I have a session that, no,
yeah.
no,
No,
it's
that's
been
the
great.
goal.
Absolutely. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's how the preparation is. And it's prepared a certain way, but hey, they will lead me a completely different way, and I'm fine with that as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Speaking of that, if you could design or have one amazing tool, it doesn't have to be like a real tool, but like something that doesn't even exist in the universe, but
yeah,
something that would help you with your job, like what would that be?
sometimes it takes me a while to figure out what a child needs.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was, and I do trust my intuition. Sometimes I have no clue why I do things because I'm simply going by my intuition. But I
Mm-hmm.
wish I had a tool that would help me
Mm-hmm.
realize what a child needs faster
Got it.
so
Got
that
it.
we don't lose time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some kids really cannot afford the time.
Yeah.
They need help immediately. And I wish I had a tool that would tell me exactly what that was.
Yeah. That would be amazing. So this is the last question. And the question, this is my favorite one, but what kind of unicorn do you think that you are? Like, what is the special magic that you have in you?
I think I'm a relentless one. I'm relentless. I I don't know what it is like to give up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really resourceful
Mm-hmm.
and really hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
Even when things may seem like I got it really quickly, I have worked really hard at that thought and that method.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the word relentless comes to mind every time I think about myself
Mm-hmm.
is that at any given time, I've got the work on my mind and
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming up with ideas and it's going to be a next great thing is what I'm always thinking about. How can I change this and make it the next best thing?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and also creative. So I have these words that I think of myself as I'm creatively relentless.
Yeah. And I will now share what I think your magic is, which is that you don't give up. That relentlessness. The kids can
Mm.
feel it,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
they know that if they don't get it the first
Yeah.
time,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
going to eventually get it. And
Absolutely.
having that, I wish the reason why we wanted Evie to keep going is because for me, I didn't have that person in my life that wouldn't give up on me,
Yeah.
that would just keep going, like, we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
belief in that I would eventually get it. And
Absolutely.
so I think that magic that you have to help these kids, they feel it. They feel that
Yeah.
you're not going to give up on them, and they feel that they are going to eventually get it. And so it builds that confidence in them and the
Absolutely.
belief that they'll be able to do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Nicole, I proved her right. Look at
yeah.
her, right? And it's not that none of this is something that I made up. I can see it. I
Mhm.
can see it, not just through my observations and intuitions, but it's pretty clear sometimes. But the child just maybe at that moment can't see it because of all of the things getting in the way. So all we have to do is to remove all of that fluff, all of that, and just get right there. And then they take over. And it's like they don't need you for all their lives. They just need you to show them that they're amazing,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
isn't that the coolest job? I mean, how
But
can it get any
but
cooler than that?
it's a special gift though. It's not something that everybody has, and not every teacher has that
Yeah,
capability. And
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
it's so I have two teachers in my entire life that I felt had that joy and
yeah,
had and made me feel belief in myself.
yeah.
Everybody else just sort of, they were
Did they?
going through the
Yeah,
motions. It was a job,
yeah,
but those
yeah,
were the people that had the biggest impact. And you can talk to anybody
yeah,
who's gone through school. They have one, two people in their lives that were
Yeah.
helping them, and they will remember them for the rest of their days.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank you on behalf of Evie, and then also my sister's kids as well, all the people that you've helped over the years
Yeah.
with being able to get that level of confidence and belief in themselves. So, and also thank you for taking your time out of your very busy schedule and day
It's
for
been a
being part of
pleasure.
the project. So, but this has been awesome conversation, and I want to thank you and have a very happy holidays.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me, Nicole. Thank you for
oh,
having me. Thank you for letting me be a part of your family,
thank
and
you.
being able to someday when I look back, think about um, that I was a part of Evie's life,
Mhm.
because I know that she's just going to do great things, and so thank you.
Well, and as I don't know if we told you or not, but one of the things that she wants to go to school for is to become a teacher, and I think you had a huge impact
Amazing,
on
amazing.
her. So with that,
It's
specifically
amazing.
an art teacher. So
Wow,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. So
Yeah,
she
there
wants
you
to
go.
pursue that path because she wants to, like you, she wants to help others. She wants to use art as a way for teaching.
Wow,
And so I think
wow.
that you've had a huge impact on her. So thank you.
Oh, that makes me, I'm just so happy to hear that. Thank you. Thank you
Cool.
so much, Nicole.
Well, thank you.